Greetings, Redheads. Thank you for joining me in another episode of your favorite show, Red's View. I am your gracious host, Jay Red. I just got back from Florida. If you notice my little tan or whatever, did you miss me? Anyway, I'm back at it, man. As always, make sure that you subscribe to youtube.com/Red's View right now, and then hit that like button for me right now. Or likes, dislikes, it doesn't matter. As Kevin Samuel says, as long as we keep the engagement level up at least 50%. And that's what I want to talk about, man. I really want to talk about Kevin Samuels. Now, this guy has went viral a few times. Now it's multiple times, but he started off doing, he's an image consultant, right? And he started off making videos directed towards men on how to fix yourself up to be presentable to women. He had fragrance of the evening and of the day, and just doing the whole, you got to go back and look at all his content, man. He just had so many things and so many videos, so much content that was catered towards men on how to keep themselves well groomed, because he is an image consultant. But recently he has been going viral after talking to several black females, black women in particular. There's been some Hispanic, some white, but mainly it's been black females, right? And one in particular was the Your Average at Best video, where a woman was trying to get a six-figure man because she had a six-figure business, but she rated herself a 5, but when she put on makeup, she's a 6. So he went viral for keeping it real. It went to World Star, YouTube, just everywhere, right? So let's hop into what is going on right now. Ever since he did this, women have been very combative against him, saying that he's gay, saying that he has trauma, he's hurt, who hurt you, your mama black, all this other stuff, right? So he has addressed it several times and different things of that nature, but one in particular has been heavy is the gay rumor, right? Now, the picture that if you see the thumbnail, you'll see the picture of him back in, I'm guessing, the 80s, maybe his high school years or something like that. I think his high school years. But he looks a little soft. You know what I'm saying? He looks a little moist. He got his hair a certain way. He's tilted like this way. Look like his ass is poked out or whatever. It looked like a very feminine picture. So that's been making its way around, surfacing. Somebody found that. And if you notice, it said that he was a cheerleader. It said pep squad or something like that. And that's a cheerleader, a male cheerleader. So people have been laughing, tearing that up, or whatever that is, right? But my whole thing is this. I'm not here to say or defend whether he's gay or not. I don't know. If you ask me personally, I don't think that he is. He's my frat brother. So, I got to represent, you know what I'm saying? K, sci-fi, new pop. But my thing is this. Let's say that Kevin Samuels is homosexual. Does it matter truly, right? Because the message that he provides the black community, now any community can hear it, right? But who he sticks to and who he delivers to is the black community. So does it really matter if he is or not, right? Does his sexual preference actually matter in what he says black high value men, as he describes them, want from women? Because I'm telling you, I want people to focus on what he's saying rather than who's saying it. Because it feels like anytime we disagree with what someone says, we always have to dig up and find something that's wrong with them. We ask and we question what it is instead of looking at to what they're saying, what the message is. So yeah, does it really matter? And you can say in the comments how you actually feel, but I don't really think it really matters what his sexual preference is. If you ask me again, I don't think that he's gay, because you got to look at this. There are a lot of men who actually agree with him, but he says a lot of stuff that we can't actually say on public platforms, at work, at our jobs, if we're head of corporations, if we have businesses, because you'll face scrutiny. Everything that he's getting right now, he's lucky that he doesn't rely on any, he has his own business, he gets paid from YouTube, he's a content creator, so he makes his own money. But when he was working in corporate America, like he said, he couldn't have said this. And it's a lot of men, ladies, I want you to realize there's a lot of men who feel this way. Majority of men do, right? So the thing is, a lot of women don't like, let's dig into what people don't like about him and what women don't like about him. He keeps it raw. He's unfiltered. He has an attitude. He goes off on women. First thing is, that he gets a bad rep for going off on women, right? But the man has been out for years. I first heard of him when he went viral too, but I went back and looked at his content. Man, he has so much content out there, and he goes in on the men just like the women. But the bread and butter right now is the women, so that's who calls up there. That's really the bag right now. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, he does get paid from it. He doesn't write books. He'll tell you to book a session because he's an image consultant, and he'll also tell you to Cash App, which I tell you to do. Like, Cash App JRed, please, to support the show. The link is in the description right there. But that's the only way he gets compensated for it, his business. Now, you got the Derek Jacksons, you got the Steve Harveys that will cater to women and tell them what they want to hear, but they'll sell you books, give you movies, all this stuff, but it's not a lot of results. So he keeps it raw. Now, is he unfiltered? Do I feel like he could tone it down a notch? Yeah, he could. He is rude, right? And he always does say, don't overtalk me on my platform and all that other stuff. But my question is, if he was to do it in a nice way, would the message still be able to get across? Really ask yourself that question. Would the message be missed because he's trying to focus on delivering it the right way? What is the right way? I notice when I make statuses and I ask women this question, nobody can really say it. They'll just say the truth, because I say he speaks the truth. They'll say the truth is subjective, which I really hate this society that we live in nowadays, because everything is subjective. But what is the best way to deliver anything? Now, how many of y'all, if fellas are watching, how many of you play football before? How many of you play basketball, sports, whatever, right? When you're out there, does the coach say, hey, go back in there, make sure that you get some tackles and make sure you do this? Or does he hit you on your helmet and say, go do what you got to do? You know what I'm saying? Get in there, score that touchdown to keep your head in the game. You need rough or tough love. You know what I'm saying? Now, as long as you're not going off on anybody, cussing them out, that's one thing. But to be cut and dry, I don't think he would be as effective. Now, it is entertainment at the end of the day, but I truly don't think Kevin Samuels will be able to be as effective if he did it in the nice, clean-cut way. Because fellas will try to do it in the nice, clean-cut way, but it doesn't work all the time. But yeah, so, you got the Derek Jacksons and the Steve Harveys that paint themselves, Derek Jackson painted himself to be this just perfect guy, right? Telling women what they want to hear, saying you're the prize and all this. And this is the first time that a man stood up and went against the grain and was keeping it real. And ladies, you have to realize men think this way. I've discussed this several times with my partners. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jay Smith. We talk about this type of stuff all the time, but we don't actually say it because we know that it will cause scrutiny and pain, and you'll question us and do us like you're doing Kevin Samuels. But anyway, the things that he talks about. How men don't want to have to raise anybody else's child. This is factual. You know what I'm saying? If men are going to school, getting their degrees, or starting their businesses, and you expect a man to pay all the bills, because most women would want that. Not saying that you have to rely strict on a man to, do all that for you, but that's more than likely what you will want. You want to be able to be taken care of. So a man will be like, okay, I want my wife to look good. I want her to be fit. I don't want her to be overweight. I don't want to have to raise anybody else's child. This is the reality, right? When he talks about women wanting to be submissive, or having women that want to be submissive and being cooperative. Yes, this day and age is so crazy, because you can't say, I want you to be cooperative or I want you to be submissive, because nowadays with the feminist movement and all these other movements that are out here, right, submissive seems like slavery to them. But how else are you supposed to be able to be with your man? Men don't have time to be arguing back and forth, being in these toxic situations. And the fact is, most of us are in these toxic situations, or we see how they could be, but we dive into them anyway. If you're dealing with a man that ain't shit, you don't have to stay around or stick around, but it's some things that you'll be able to work out in the benefit of marriage. Now, that's what I've never been married, right? And I'm no, in shape, form, or fashion, a relationship guru or counselor, because I've had my flaws just like everybody else has. But I've seen marriages last, like how he says, our grandparents cheated on each other. Men and women did back then, but they were able to keep it together in the household for the benefit of the children. Now, I don't think that somebody brought up a great point. Like, if you stay in a marriage and it's a toxic marriage, or it's abusive or whatever like that, that you should stay in it just so it doesn't mess up anything for the children. But the children could be traumatized from that as well. I feel what Kevin is saying is like, ladies, if you find out if you have to dig to find out your man is cheating when it never presented itself to you, was it really that bad? Now, the thing is, right now, people will probably just say, no, I couldn't have my man cheat on me. But the reality is, men do cheat. Men cheat. That is what it is. It's a harsh reality to accept. And in a perfect world, a fairy tale world, it wouldn't happen. And a man, making six figures or making good money or is looking good would only be just to you. A lot of men don't do it. If that's the case, how come men actually cheat? And a lot of women, it's funny, they'll be like, well, if my man is going to cheat, I'm going to cheat too. No, you're not. You really don't want to have that happen at the end of the day. Simply because, why would you? Why would you want to have your man, why would you want to cheat on your man? You want that to be your man at the end of the day. And you, of course, want him to be there for you, but you don't want to go out and get no other man. You're doing that. You're saying that you want to have a man just to be, or have multiple men just to be able to be combative against him, or to be tit for tat. So, that's not realistic. It's crazy, but I don't, I'm not saying that men need to cheat or whatever. I'm just saying what is factual. The man is saying a lot of facts, when it comes to ladies wanting high expectations, wanting men to make that six figures and stuff. That's what happened with the lady that called in and said, I make six figures, so I want my man to make six figures and all this other stuff, right? Like, it's the reality that, if you have multiple children by different men and you want to be able to have somebody provide for you and the children, a man wouldn't want that. And you know what? I made a video in statuses talking about Lizzo, right? How Lizzo is this overweight woman, right? And if we say she's overweight or she's fat, we're fat shaming. But did you ever think about if you say that same thing towards a fat guy who wants a skinny girl, and she's like, I don't want him. Or not even just a skinny girl, but a girl who's healthy, right? Slim, fit, in the gym all the time. And she sees an overweight guy, she's going to say, nah, you're too overweight. I don't want you. Now, the overweight guy doesn't say the woman is fat shaming. It's a double standard. And I'm glad that Kevin Samuels has brought that to the forefront, that we live in a double standard world, double standard society. It is what it is. Just like, be real, if a man was in a gay relationship with another man and he decides, hey, I don't want to be gay anymore, I want to be straight, how many women would actually accept him and be like, oh, okay, yeah, he's straight, he's heterosexual now, right? What women, I'm not saying that it can't happen, but come on now. Versus a woman who was in a same-sex relationship, marriage or whatever, she breaks off and says, hey, I want to be straight now. Men would still get her, at the end of the day. Not every man would, but men would still get her at the end of the day. So the double standard stuff he's talking about, we can't sit and act like that is not real, that's not factual. Yes, it is. The man isn't lying, right? Now, the most important thing I want to get out of this is he's not for everybody. Kevin Samuels is not for everybody. I agree with 85% of what this man says. I'm sorry, y'all, keep looking out because I think I'm getting a delivery soon. But Kevin Samuels is not for everybody, and everybody isn't for Kevin Samuels. He has what he calls high value men, top earners in the country, makes $10,000 or more for 5 years, all this stuff. That's his version of what high value men are, right? And he does this by data, statistics, just all this stuff, right? Do I agree with that? Not necessarily, because high value to me means different things. If a man is able to look good, smell good, take care of himself, take care of his responsibilities, I feel like that's high value. If he's aware of himself, who he is, has something going for himself, that's high value. Because low value would be the opposite of that, right? I don't think that you have to make six figures in order to be a high value man, but according to him, it is what it is. Now, the most important thing is some people will say, well, it's a lot of low value men or men who don't make six figures, who agree with him and act like it applies to them, guess what? It does. Because in this dating world out here, it's rough. Women still do have to compete for the men at the end of the day. Now, men have to compete for women in a certain, position, but I'm not going to get too deep into it because I don't want anybody to feel like I'm this relationship guru. But I agree with a lot of what Kevin Samuels says. And everybody you have to take with a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? Like influencers, relationship gurus, content creators, even me. I have a show called Red's View. People disagree with it all the time. But at the end of the day, it's called Red's View. Now, it's my opinion, but you're more than welcome to come on the show. I always would invite people to come on. If you have a disagreement with me or anything like that, y'all saw what happened with the Bow Wow situation. I invited him on the show. He didn't come. He didn't want to come. He told me he didn't want to come on the show. But anybody who disagrees with what I have to say about anything, come on the show if you're available. Now you can't be on here BSing, but just come on the show if you want to. But he's not for everybody. He may not be talking to you. And if you are married and you had multiple children by different men and you still found a high value man or whatever, yeah, kudos to you. Good for you. If you are overweight and found a man who's fitting in shape, kudos to you. But it's not the case for everybody, and we have to stop doing that. A Lizzo being obese, she's trying to get a Chris Evans, right? Someone who is considered an attractive man in Hollywood. Women go crazy over this white guy, So, but you don't see Lizzo going after another fat person or obese person, right? And even though I said fat, they go, oh, he's fat shaming, he's this, that, whatever. But why isn't Lizzo going, would she go after somebody who's plus sized or whatever? But, people will say she deserves what she wants, whatever. We live in this type of world, society. It is what it is. But when we disagree with somebody, why do we have to dig in deep and find out who they are? In some cases, I do understand, right? But in this case, a lot of women, now if you believe that Kevin Samuels is gay strictly off of the pictures, his mannerisms, or what he does, hey, it is what it is. I think the pictures are funny as hell too. But if you're disagreeing with him and saying that he's gay because you're disagreeing with him, then I don't believe that's genuine. I feel like that's just whack, in my opinion. Because if not him who's giving us the information, who else? In every episode that he does, this man talks about marriage. Marriage, the benefit of the children. Stop being selfish, the benefit of the children. Stop being selfish, concerned about what you want to do. Marriage, he always says that. Stay in your marriage. So if anything, we should pay attention to that. You can shoot the messenger, but what I feel like, do I feel like Kevin Samuels is going to change the black community by himself? No, right? Because a lot of it is shits and giggles because people tune in just to see what he's going to do, who he's going to shut up, or, women that make themselves look crazy and everything like that, right? But at the end of the day, the message is what's important. So let me know what you feel like in the comments or whatever. Please don't scrutinize me because I agree with this man. He is my frat brother, KA Sci-Fi New Pie had to represent. But yeah, man, if you like this video, hit the like button. You can hit the dislike as well. Doesn't matter. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/RedsView. My She Say Part 2 video is out right now. I got DJ mixes out there. I do so much. It's going to be newer listeners or newer subscribers. So I mainly do hip hop, as you see. I talk about what's in the culture as well, which is like the Kevin Samuels stuff. But if you want good shows every week, reviews, music reviews, all that good stuff, you come to the right place. Follow me on Instagram, social media at JAYR3D. Look in the description after you see this video and you'll see all my information and stuff on there. But anyway, this is J Red, Red's View.